And to that piece of lieutenant that's always on his podcast, bashing us, him.
Good to see you. There you go, brother. All right, take care. I can't believe this.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
God bless you, man. Yo, Eric, is that you?
Yes, it is, brother. How are you?
New York is wild, man. Just get a fucking mayor out of the back of my car.
That's New York. I always say there are two types of Americans: those who live in New York and those who wish they could.
Mayor, big moment?
Yep, big moment. We're about to change the game. If you can't make it to New York, we're going to bring New York to you.
$32, Mayor.
Cash or credit card?
You get some of the New York City Token?
We'll get you some, brother. This thing is about to take off like crazy.
And take off like crazy it did. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to New York's finest retired and unfiltered podcast, the finest unfiltered. I'm your host, John Macari. So let's get into a little bit of this, what's being called as a rug pull. Eric Adams and the New York City Token. Pretty involved here. So originally, Eric Adams, prior to stepping into office, said that he was going to make New York City the Bitcoin capital of the world. He said cryptocurrency was it. That was going to be, the new currency moving forward, and he was going to be the mayor to bring it to the forefront of New York City. Now, during his administration, actually right before he was leaving office, he actually went and spoke at a Bitcoin conference. And at that conference, he presented an idea of something called bit bonds, similar to municipal bonds, but this is a bond made up of crypto, right? The idea never has not come to fruition at this point. So, but still there was like a hint at his involvement in the crypto sphere. Obviously, Brock Pierce, crypto investor, child actor, big fan of Eric Adams, right? He said Eric Adams is the apple of my eye, and he wanted Eric Adams to stay in the race, even though Eric Adams dropped out. Ultimately, the allegations of corruption and impropriety and incompetence from his administration were just too much for him to be reelected. Right. So that happens. And now here we are just weeks out of office, and Eric Adams has unleashed a token called New York City Token. Now, the minute it unleashes, it started trading at around 60 cents a share. Right. And it's a meme coin. It wasn't trading on an official site. It was trading on a website. So 30 minutes after it, the meme coin had crashed over 80%. Now, there's allegations that investors and possibly even Eric Adams himself and other big backers into this coin took liquidity out of it. That in the crypto world is called a rug pull, right? You put this product up, excuse me, this meme coin up, the price soars, you take all the liquidity out of it, you basically crash it, and it leaves the investors with basically worthless token, right? So currently right now, I believe the token's trading at about 13 cents. New York State in 2024 tried to put legislation in saying that for any meme coins that were put out there, the people who created that coin would be unable to take out any more than 8% for the first 5 years of the coin. That legislation never came to fruition. But while rug pulls aren't necessarily themselves illegal at this point, there are people who have engaged in these type of practices that have been charged for security fraud and wire fraud and other things surrounding that. So here was Eric Adams just 2 days ago in Times Square with a nice size amount of reporters, and he was talking about this meme coin.
Former New York City Mayor Eric Adams is set to hold his first news conference since leaving office later today.
Talking about this new crypto coin he said will help combat anti-Semitism. Today, New York City is launching a new digital token called the New York City Token, inspired by New York City's resilience, diversity, and ambition to become the crypto capital of the world.
We're going to continue to invest in making our city a safer city.
So that comes out, right? That's where you go to buy the token, www.buynyctoken.com. Now, all of the news media is reporting, as well as Eric Adams and the companies surrounding New York City Token, are saying that if you buy this coin, it's going to help fight anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism. Now, I don't know when Eric Adams became the spokesperson and the knight behind fighting anti-Semitism. For those of you that don't remember, he bodyguarded for a long time a person who's been known to be called an anti-Semite based upon the rhetoric that he used in political life. And he also was trying to get this person to take over security in our housing projects. That person is Louis Farrakhan, right? I would think most people would not consider Louis Farrakhan a friend of the Jewish community, but he certainly was a friend and mentor to Eric Adams. So how he became fighting anti-Semitism, I don't know. If somebody could explain to us how buying a meme coin fights anti-Semitism, I would love to hear it. Fighting, and it would also is going to fight anti-Americanism. I haven't heard anyone really dissect that at this point. So there's a few things around this now. Now, immediately the coin has lost 80% of its value, right? And again, like I said, there are all of these allegations of corruption amidst him coming off of a term that was riddled with corruption. You know, he likes to say where there isn't always fire where there's smoke, but there was tons of smoke around his administration and plumes of it, as a matter of fact. And now here he is, just 2 weeks out of office, in my opinion, the most corrupt mayoral administration in modern history. We haven't had anything similar since Boss Tweed in the days of Tammany Hall. Another close friend of him, Attorney Herbert, was just indicted for corruption and bribery charges relating to his job in City Hall that he lost after celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. So here's where this whole crypto thing gets a little bit even more interesting. To go down the rabbit hole even further, we have a man named Eddie Cullen. He reaches out to the city newspaper. Greg Smith has just put out an article on this today. And Eddie Cullen is saying that he spoke to the mayor this summer, in July, and he already had the name New York City Token trademarked and was planning on unleashing this token using Eric Adams as the spokesperson. And so it gets really crazy here, because now not only is he in a scandal involving potential wire fraud and securities fraud, but the other problem here is potentially there's a trademark business violation as well. It's like anybody surrounding themselves with Eric Adams at this point. I mean, come on. I mean, I would love to see who pulled their investments immediately. I would love to see the names of those. I would love to see how many of them are close friends of Eric Adams or have some type of association with him. But this is the danger you're stepping into when you're not on a securities exchange. Right? Doesn't mean that you can't get your money back. It doesn't mean that all hope is lost, but it's definitely not a good sign. Here's Nick O'Neill. Nick O'Neill, he runs a blog, pretty popular guy, about crypto and investing, and it's called Bodoggos. So listen to what Nick O'Neill had to say about Eric Adams.
Eric Adams, are you fucking serious right now? The former mayor of New York City decides to launch an NYC token where the entire premise is to resolve anti-Semitism. It's a complete scam. The largest token holder, the most profitable, bought $0 worth of the token and has already made $260,000. This is the guy who was basically saying, I'm going to turn New York City into the crypto capital, put together a bunch of crypto people to come up to New York City to talk about the future of crypto. Literally did jack shit. He did absolutely nothing. And now you got a socialist running the city as a result of this guy who couldn't do a damn thing. Absolutely criminal. I cannot believe that this guy has the balls to basically, as soon as he's done as mayor, figures that launching a token is the most effective thing that he can go do. I mean, Eric Adams was previously investigated and basically found guilty but then let off for it for basically international, not espionage, but political influence campaigns run by like Turkey or something like that, of all countries. Completely random. Just putting money in his pockets.
So what happened was, and you know, a lot of people like to talk that this was just airplane upgrades. Even the president of the United States, Pam Bondi, and a lot of conservative influencers tried to write this off as it was just airplane upgrades, and it was so much more than that. In New York City, they have a matching fund program when you're running for office, meaning that if you get X amount of dollars through locally sourced funds, small locally sourced funds, New York City will take tax dollars and match those funds. The matching funds are 8-1, right? So think about how lucrative that is. If you donated $100 to me and I qualified for the matching funds, I get $800. What was going on in Eric's campaign and what the Department of Justice alleged in the Southern District, and many people resigned over this debacle because they wanted to tell them that they were being politically motivated behind this, even though this investigation sparked under the original Trump administration. So what the Department of Justice was alleging was that Eric Adams' campaign was taking in all of these fraudulent donations from people that they couldn't take in. They were taking all of these donations, basically running straw donor scams. And what they were doing was they were getting the straw donor scams in. They took the matching funds up to $10 million they took in city taxpayer coffers. And then they were like, oh, no, look, this donation here, these donations are no good. So they gave the donations back, but they never gave the matching funds back. The other thing is these airplane upgrades and these hotel upgrades that were amounted to hundreds of thousands of dollars were coming by way of foreign governments. I mean, that is a huge, huge no-no. So let's listen to the rest of what Nick's saying here.
This guy is dirty as hell. And you guys want to know why you have a socialist running New York City now? It's because all the other people that have been running it so far are complete scammers. Absolute trash. I can't believe this guy. And to use anti-Semitism as literally the backbone of launching this token, dude, you disgust me. You are dirt. You are trash. You should disappear, frankly, for the rest of your life. No one wants to hear from you. You're a loser. You literally did nothing for New York City. Nothing at all. I mean, I cannot believe this guy. Someone needs to basically lock this guy up at this point in time. I've never said that about political candidates in my life, former politicians. I've never been someone to sort of advocate for what feels like a borderline violent action, which is throwing someone in jail. Obviously, it's not physical violence, but you are physically implementing them or restricting their movement. So I would say that's a form of violence, essentially. Eric Adams, this guy needs to be thrown in jail. This is disgusting. The token's already down bad, but of course people in his ecosystem are already making money. I mean, it's an absolute shame that nobody can make millions of dollars off of meme coins anymore. And it's because of people like Eric Adams. Eric Adams, you're a piece of shit.
All right. So Nick was obviously highly upset about that. I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, look, you're coming out here, you're doing all of this wild stuff. You did all of this wild stuff as the mayor. And, you know, here we are. Like, we don't know what's going to come of this. We don't know if there's going to be corruption charges brought up down the line. But I think, like everybody else, this should be investigated. But just a point of note, why would anyone in their right mind invest in anything that Eric Adams was a part of? I mean, it's insane. You know, it's completely insane. That's why, you know, I'm going to start nicknaming him. My new nickname for him is the boss Tweed of crypto, because here he is. He's coming out swinging right off the gate, and allegations of corruption and all of this insanity coming out of office. I mean, I don't even think the guy could help himself at this point. So, you know, I was highly upset. I think most people on the network were highly upset that Trump's DOJ ultimately dropped charges on him. And, you know, we thought it was wrong. You know, he defrauded taxpayers. He took money from foreign governments. And here he is making an absolute fool of himself right out of the gate. City reported that he's reached out to Brock Pierce. Brock Pierce, a fan and supporter of Eric Adams, said Eric Adams, the apple of his eye, came out and basically said that the team didn't know what they were doing. So, or did they? We don't know. I mean, it remains to be seen. And here's just another chapter in the Crumbs scandal, right? Why do I always mention Crumbs? Crumbs, one of Eric Adams' close associates, who was alleged to have been selling not only promotions, but city contracts around migrants, was alleged to said, everybody's eating off these migrant contracts. Where's my crumbs? You know, and that's why I call it the Crumbs crew. That's why I think that this has been a Crumbs saga, and here's just another chapter in it, the crypto scam. So let's see where this goes. You know, we'll keep reporting it to you. Thank you for joining the Finest Unfiltered today. And as usual, we'll be back at you.
There's a handful of retired officers that don't live in the state that have a lot to say about the dream team, as I like to call it. All of a sudden, they retire and have a master plan on how to fight crime. But nothing to contribute when they were here. They want to come back and be part of the dream team. What can I say?